First contact shadow. The anomaly appeared on Deep Space Station Omega's sensors at 3:47 Universal Time. Lieutenant Raj Sharma blinked twice at his monitor, certain he was seeing things after 18 hours on duty. But the reading remained: 36 objects moving in perfect formation, decelerating from relativistic speeds as they approached the Kuiper Belt. Commander Prisha Patel stood at the station's main viewport, her dark eyes fixed on the distant stars. At 53, she had spent 3 decades preparing Earth's defense networks, earning both respect and ridicule for her insistence on maintaining primitive backup systems alongside modern technology. Now, as she studied the incoming data, those preparations no longer seemed paranoid. Contact control, this is Commander Patel. She spoke into the Global Defense Network. Implementing Protocol Silent Shield. Authentication Delta 790. Around the world, military bases and research facilities began receiving encrypted transmissions. The objects approached with impossible precision, their energy signatures unlike anything humanity had encountered. When they reached Jupiter's orbit, the first transmission arrived, crystal clear and in perfect English. Greetings, citizens of Earth. We are the Nexus Empire, guardians of civilized space. Your world has been monitored since your first radio transmissions. The time has come for your incorporation into our domain. The message continued, describing how the Empire had uplifted countless worlds, bringing them into their version of civilization. Their representative, High Overseer Thexus, appeared on screens worldwide, humanoid but with silvery skin and eyes that seemed to shift color as he spoke. Your species shows promise, Thexus declared. We offer you the stars themselves. Simply accept our guidance, and within generations, your people will enjoy technology beyond your dreams. In the United Earth Council chamber, Commander Patel stood before representatives from every nation. They're offering us chains wrapped in starlight, she said, her voice steady. Their ships use quantum-locked fields for everything. Weapons, communications, life support. They've forgotten the basics, and that's their weakness. You're suggesting we fight. The Brazilian representative leaned forward. Their smallest ship could probably vaporize a continent. Patel smiled. They expect us to either surrender in awe or attempt to match their technology. We'll do neither. She activated a hologram showing simple mechanical designs. Sometimes the most effective weapon is the one your enemy has forgotten exists. Over the next 3 weeks, Earth's response took shape. Deep in the Atacama Desert, ancient railroad tracks were repurposed into electromagnetic mass drivers. Beneath the Pacific Ocean, decommissioned oil platforms became launching sites for ballistic weapons containing no electronics, just carefully shaped metal and momentum. The Empire watched from orbit, their sensors detecting only scattered energy signatures that seemed to indicate a primitive civilization in disarray. They missed the significance of the space debris cleanup operations that were positioning millions of tiny metal spheres in precise orbits. Your time to accept our generous offer grows short, Overseer Thexus announced as the deadline approached. We detect your futile attempts at defense. Please do not force us to demonstrate the consequences of resistance. Commander Patel stood in the Global Defense Command Center, surrounded by screens showing Earth's preparations. Modern computers had been shut down, replaced by analog systems that would be invisible to Imperial scans. Their entire defense network now ran on technology that would have been familiar to engineers from a century ago. They're expecting an inferior version of their own weapons, she told her staff. They're looking for energy signatures, shield harmonics, quantum fields. They won't find any of those things. She paused, looking at the tactical display showing Imperial ships moving into attack position. Instead, they're going to learn why humans never completely abandon the simplest solutions. As the deadline approached, humanity waited. Their weapons weren't elegant or advanced. There would be no energy beams or force fields. Just physics, applied with the full force of human determination. Sometimes, Patel thought, The deadliest predator was the one you dismissed as primitive. The Empire's ships began their final approach, their quantum shields glowing with power, their weapons charged with enough energy to reshape continents. They never noticed the simple metal spheres beginning to move into new orbits, or the mechanical devices tracking their descent with technology that hadn't changed significantly since World War I. The time had come to show the Empire why underestimating humanity was about to become their greatest mistake. The weight of steel. In the hidden bunker beneath the Ural Mountains, director Nikolai Volkov watched as technicians assembled what might have been mistaken for museum pieces: simple radio transmitters, mechanical computers, and analog targeting systems filled the vast chamber. Equipment that hadn't seen use in half a century hummed to life, invisible to the Empire's quantum sensors. Primitive, yet beautiful in its simplicity, he mused, running weathered fingers across a mechanical targeting computer. Beside him, Chief Engineer Isabella Martinez adjusted calibrations with practiced precision. The Empire's ships depend entirely on quantum fields, Isabella explained to the gathering of international military leaders. Their sensors search for energy signatures matching their own technology level. These systems, she gestured to the equipment around them. They might as well be rocks and sticks to their scanners. Above them, Imperial scout ships maintained their patrol patterns, their sophisticated sensors sweeping Earth's surface. They recorded energy signatures from cities, military bases, and industrial centers, but missed the true preparations happening in plain sight. Deep beneath the Antarctic ice, Professor Viktor Petrov supervised the final modifications to the Global Defense Network's backbone, a mechanical switching system that would coordinate Earth's response without using a single modern computer chip. They expect us to fight with inferior versions of their weapons, he told his international team. Instead, we'll fight with weapons their sensors cannot even recognize as weapons. In orbit, the Empire's massive ships held position, their quantum shields creating spectacular auroras visible from Earth's surface. High Overseer Thexis broadcast daily messages, each more condescending than the last. Your persistence in mounting these primitive defenses is admirable, if futile. His voice echoed across Earth's communications channels. Accept our guidance, and such crude methods will become nothing but historical curiosities. Commander Paddle stood in the New Delhi Command Center, watching ancient radar displays track Imperial movements. Status report, she commanded. Kinetic weapon platforms ready in the Pacific, Atlantic, and Indian Oceans, reported Admiral Hiroshi Tanaka. Mass drivers in the Atacama and Sahara at full capacity. Orbital debris fields positioned exactly as calculated. From the European Union's underground facility, Dr. Helena Kovac confirmed, mechanical targeting systems synchronized, all stations running on isolated power sources, no quantum signatures to detect. The Empire's deadline approached its final hours. In their ships, advanced AI systems analyzed Earth's defenses, finding nothing that could threaten their superior technology. They detected no energy weapons, no shield systems, no quantum technology of any kind. Their reports confirmed what they already believed. Earth was a primitive world ripe for conquest. They never noticed the massive tungsten rods being loaded into converted missile silos, or the network of simple radio transmitters that would coordinate Earth's response using frequencies the Empire considered too primitive to monitor. They didn't detect the mechanical computers calculating orbital trajectories, or the stockpiles of basic metallic projectiles waiting in precise positions around the globe. In the Mariana Trench, Captain Weizhong stood in the control room of the submarine Defiant, surrounded by equipment that would have been familiar to his grandfather. No nuclear reactor hummed beneath his feet. They ran on battery power, silent and invisible to Imperial sensors. His weapons officer maintained a careful watch on their cargo. Simple metal spheres, precisely machined and waiting to be launched at exactly the right moment. They've forgotten what we learned in our earliest wars, White told his crew. Sometimes the simplest weapons are the most effective. A rock thrown hard enough can break any window. no matter how advanced the glass. As the final hours ticked away, humanity waited. In bunkers and bases around the world, soldiers checked mechanical weapons and analog communications equipment. In orbit, precisely positioned debris fields hung silent and dark, waiting for the signal to begin their carefully planned descent. Commander Patel made her final inspection of the global defense network. Every continent had reported ready, using communication methods that would have been familiar to operators from a century ago. The Empire's ships loomed above, their quantum shields glowing with power they'd assumed made them invulnerable. "They believe we're helpless," Patel addressed the global command staff. "They think we'll either surrender or try to match their technology. But humanity has never succeeded by fighting the way our enemies expect." She looked at the ancient radar displays tracking Imperial positions. "We're about to remind them that sometimes the oldest solutions are the best ones." The Empire's ultimatum expired at dawn. As the sun rose over the Pacific, their ships began their descent, quantum shields blazing against the morning sky. They never saw the storm of simple metal and momentum that was about to teach them why underestimating humanity was their fatal mistake. Earth's defenses stood ready, armed not with advanced technology, but with the weight of steel and the force of human ingenuity. The real war was about to begin, and the Empire was about to learn why being primitive didn't mean being helpless. When stars tremble, the Empire's ships descended through Earth's atmosphere like falling stars, their quantum shields creating rippling curtains of light across the sky. High Overseer Thexis's final warning echoed across global communications: "Surrender now, and we will be merciful." Commander Patel's response was simple: execute Operation Primitive. The first phase began silently. In orbit, carefully positioned debris fields activated, countless metal spheres shifting into precisely calculated trajectories. The Empire's sensors, designed to detect energy weapons and quantum signatures, registered nothing as the cloud of simple projectiles approached their ships. The impacts began as tiny pings against their shields. Imperial officers dismissed them as space debris, not recognizing the deliberate pattern of impacts slowly overwhelming their shield generators. By the time they realized something was wrong, Phase 2 had begun. From the depths of Earth's oceans, submarines launched their payloads. Simple metal rods, accelerated by electromagnetic forces, streaked toward the Imperial ships. Their shields, already strained by the orbital debris, couldn't handle the pure kinetic energy. The first rod punctured an Imperial cruiser's hull, tearing through decks of advanced technology. "Impossible." Thexis's voice crackled with rage. "These are not weapons." "Physics disagrees," Patel responded calmly, watching as more ships began taking damage. The Empire attempted to retaliate, their quantum weapons charging with enough power to level cities. But their targeting systems, dependent on quantum fields, couldn't lock onto Earth's mechanical defenses. Their communication networks, hackable through quantum entanglement, found themselves disrupted by simple radio waves broadcast at precise frequencies. From the Atacama Desert, mass drivers began launching their payloads. Tungsten rods accelerated to hypersonic speeds, tore through Imperial ships whose crews had forgotten how to defend against simple projectile weapons. The Empire's advanced AI systems, programmed to counter sophisticated attacks, couldn't adapt to the brutal simplicity of Earth's defense. Echoes of thunder. The Empire's fleet split into defensive formations, desperately trying to counter attacks they barely understood. Their energy weapons fired blindly, missing Earth's carefully hidden launch sites. Their quantum shields, designed to repel energy weapons, continued failing against the relentless barrage of kinetic impacts. In the Pacific Command Center, Admiral Tanaka coordinated the submarine fleet's attacks. "Remember," he told his commanders, "timing over technology. Let physics do the work." The Empire attempted to retreat to higher orbit, but found their escape routes blocked by expanding clouds of orbital debris. Ships that tried to power through found their quantum drives failing as simple metal particles shredded their external systems. Underground. Director Volkov's mechanical targeting systems continued coordinating global attacks without using a single computer chip the Empire could hack or disable. The simple efficiency of Earth's response had caught the Empire completely off guard. Professor Petrov's network of analog communications kept Earth's forces synchronized, immune to the Empire's attempts at electronic warfare. They had expected Earth to try matching their technology level. Instead, humanity had gone backward, embracing methods so old they had become new again. Imperial ships began falling from the sky, their advanced technology useless against the storm of metal and momentum. Those that remained operational found themselves trapped between the surface-based attacks and the expanding debris fields in orbit. Your primitive attacks cannot defeat us, Thexus broadcast, even as his fleet continued taking losses. We have conquered galaxies. Yet you forgot the basics, Paddle responded. That's about to cost you everything. Dawn's victory. The final phase began at sunrise. Every mass driver, submarine launch platform, and orbital defense system fired simultaneously. The Empire's remaining ships, their shields already failing, faced a barrage they couldn't counter or escape. High Overseer Thexus watched in disbelief as his fleet was systematically destroyed by weapons his civilization had dismissed as obsolete millennia ago. His final transmission betrayed his comprehension too late. We were wrong about you. You're not primitive. You're something far more dangerous. We're human, Paddle replied. We never forgot where we came from. The remaining Imperial ships attempted a desperate breakthrough, trying to reach escape velocity. They were met by precisely positioned debris fields that shredded their external systems. One by one, they either retreated or fell. Within hours, Earth's orbit was clear of Imperial ships. The defense platforms maintained their vigilance, ready to counter any return attempt. Humanity had won not by matching the Empire's technology, but by remembering what the Empire had forgotten. In the aftermath, Commander Patel stood before the United Earth Council. The Empire will return, she warned, but they'll find us ready. They thought advancing meant abandoning the past. We know better. Our strength lies not in forgetting our roots, but in remembering them. The Empire's defeat sent shockwaves through the galaxy. Other civilizations, long intimidated by Imperial technology, took notice. Humanity had proven that advancement didn't always mean complexity, that sometimes the oldest solutions were still the best ones. Earth began rebuilding, maintaining their simple but effective defenses alongside developing technologies. They had learned a crucial lesson. True progress meant building upon the past, not abandoning it. The Empire had sought to conquer what they saw as a primitive world. Instead, they had awakened a force they never understood: human ingenuity. As the sun set on the first day of Earth's new era, Commander Patel watched the cleanup operations beginning in orbit. The Empire had brought their advanced technology and quantum weapons, expecting an easy conquest. They had found instead a civilization that remembered its history, that knew sometimes the simplest answer was the right one. The stars above seemed brighter somehow, no longer distant lights, but a challenge humanity had proven ready to meet. The Empire had wanted to give Earth the stars. Instead, humanity had shown they were ready to take them on their own terms. In the end, it wasn't advanced technology that had saved Earth. It was remembering that sometimes being called primitive wasn't an insult. It was just a reminder that the oldest solutions could still be the best ones. The Empire had forgotten that lesson. Humanity never would.